Welcome to Framework, the podcast that makes the NIST cybersecurity framework practical, engaging, and accessible. Whether you're a cybersecurity professional, business leader, or simply curious about how organizations defend against cyber threats, this series is for you. This podcast is inspired by a comprehensive guide to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, a best-selling resource written by cybersecurity expert Dr. Jason Edwards and trusted by professionals worldwide. In each episode, we'll leverage a few insights from Jason's extensive book to dive deep into CSF 2.0, unpacking every function, category, and subcategory with real-world applications you can immediately use. If you're enjoying this episode and want to learn more, head over to cyberauthor.me to grab your copy of the book and access additional resources to enhance your cybersecurity journey. You can also visit baremetalcyber.com, where over 2 million people last year explored expert insights, articles, and practical tools across a wide range of cybersecurity topics. GV.RM-03 cybersecurity risk management processes are established. GV.RM-03 ensures that organizations develop, implement, and maintain structured cybersecurity risk management processes that support enterprise-wide security governance, regulatory compliance, and operational resilience. This subcategory belongs to the govern function within the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework, version 2.0, emphasizing that cyber risk management must be a repeatable, measurable, and continuously improving process integrated into business decision-making. Without well-defined cybersecurity risk management processes, organizations face unstructured security decision-making, fragmented risk mitigation strategies, and increased exposure to cyber threats that could disrupt business continuity. Establishing cybersecurity risk management processes ensures that organizations apply consistent methodologies for identifying, assessing, mitigating, and monitoring cybersecurity risks. A structured risk management process allows organizations to prioritize security investments based on risk impact, enforce standardized security controls, and ensure leadership has clear visibility into cyber risk exposure. Organizations that implement formalized cybersecurity risk management frameworks can enhance resilience, improve regulatory compliance, and strengthen overall risk governance. Multiple stakeholders are responsible for implementing and maintaining cybersecurity risk management processes. Executive leadership and board members provide strategic oversight, allocate funding, and approve risk mitigation policies, ensuring that cybersecurity aligns with business priorities. Chief Information Security Officers and cybersecurity risk teams implement risk assessment frameworks, apply technical security controls, and enforce risk mitigation strategies to protect organizational assets. Compliance and legal teams ensure that cybersecurity risk management processes align with industry regulations, contractual obligations, and governance frameworks, preventing legal and financial penalties. Cybersecurity risk management processes are established through structured governance frameworks, enterprise-wide risk assessment models, and continuous threat monitoring mechanisms. This includes defining cybersecurity risk policies, integrating risk assessment methodologies into business decision-making, and ensuring leadership is regularly informed about cyber risk metrics. Organizations that fail to implement formalized cybersecurity risk management processes risk inconsistent security enforcement, ineffective risk mitigation, and an inability to adapt to evolving cyber threats, increasing the likelihood of financial losses and reputational damage. Several key terms define cybersecurity risk management processes and their role in enterprise security. Risk identification is the process of recognizing potential cybersecurity threats and vulnerabilities that could impact an organization's security posture. Risk assessment frameworks provide structured methodologies for evaluating cyber risks based on likelihood and impact, ensuring that organizations prioritize their security mitigation efforts. Risk mitigation strategies include implementing technical controls, process improvements, and security policies to reduce risk exposure. Risk monitoring involves continuous evaluation of cybersecurity threats, vulnerabilities, and control effectiveness, ensuring that risk management processes remain adaptive and responsive to evolving threats. Security governance models define how cybersecurity risk is managed, enforced, and aligned with enterprise-wide risk management strategies. Challenges in establishing cybersecurity risk management processes often lead to gaps in security governance, poor risk visibility, and weak enforcement of security controls. One common issue is lack of structured risk assessment methodologies, where organizations fail to apply consistent risk evaluation frameworks, leading to misalignment between cybersecurity policies and business risk priorities. Another issue is failure to integrate cybersecurity risk management into enterprise governance, resulting in cyber risks being assessed separately from financial, operational, and regulatory risks. Some organizations mistakenly believe that implementing security technologies alone is sufficient for cybersecurity risk management, without recognizing that effective risk management requires structured policies, continuous monitoring, and cross-functional risk governance. When organizations effectively establish cybersecurity risk management processes, they improve security resilience, enhance risk visibility, and strengthen their ability to mitigate cyber threats proactively. A structured cybersecurity risk management framework ensures that all business units follow standardized risk assessment methodologies, leadership teams make informed security decisions, and cybersecurity investments align with business risk tolerance levels. Organizations that implement continuous risk assessment strategies, enforce cybersecurity governance models, and apply adaptive risk mitigation frameworks develop a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy that enhances operational stability and long-term business resilience. Organizations that fail to establish structured cybersecurity risk management processes face significant operational, financial, and regulatory consequences. Without a repeatable and well-documented approach to managing cyber risks, organizations may struggle to prioritize threats, enforce security policies, and allocate resources effectively, leading to inefficient security operations and increased risk exposure. A common issue is inconsistent risk assessment methodologies, where different departments apply varied approaches to identifying and evaluating cyber risks, making it difficult for leadership to gain a clear picture of the organization's overall risk posture. Another issue is failure to update risk management processes in response to evolving threats, or organizations continue using outdated frameworks that do not account for modern cyber risks such as ransomware, supply chain attacks, and cloud security vulnerabilities. By implementing structured cybersecurity risk management processes, organizations ensure that cyber risks are assessed systematically, security controls are applied consistently, and risk mitigation strategies align with business objectives. A formalized approach to risk management allows leadership to make data-driven security decisions, allocate resources efficiently, and integrate cybersecurity into enterprise-wide governance frameworks. Organizations that implement continuous risk assessments, enforce standardized risk evaluation models, and integrate cybersecurity governance into strategic decision-making improve their ability to prevent cyber incidents, maintain regulatory compliance, and adapt to emerging cyber threats. At the partial tier, organizations lack formalized cybersecurity risk management processes, leading to unstructured risk assessments, inconsistent security controls, and a reactive approach to cyber threats. Risk identification efforts are ad hoc, and cybersecurity policies are not integrated into enterprise governance frameworks. A small business at this level may lack dedicated cybersecurity personnel, relying on informal security measures such as basic antivirus software and periodic system updates, leaving critical vulnerabilities unaddressed. At the risk-informed tier, organizations begin to establish structured risk management policies and conduct periodic cyber risk assessments, ensuring that some elements of risk governance are in place. However, cybersecurity risk management efforts may still be departmentalized, with different teams handling security risks independently rather than following an organization-wide strategy. A mid-sized company at this level may conduct annual cybersecurity risk assessments, but fail to implement real-time risk monitoring or enforce risk-based decision-making at the executive level, limiting its ability to anticipate and mitigate evolving threats. At the repeatable tier, organizations implement formal cybersecurity risk management frameworks, ensuring that risk assessments, security controls, and risk mitigation strategies are consistently applied across all business functions. Cyber risk governance is fully integrated into enterprise-wide risk management, and leadership actively engages in risk-based security decision-making. A financial institution at this stage may use automated cyber risk assessment tools, enforce structured security risk mitigation policies, and ensure that cybersecurity risk reports are regularly presented to executive leadership for decision-making. At the adaptive tier, organizations employ real-time cyber risk analytics, AI-driven threat intelligence, and dynamic risk mitigation frameworks to continuously assess, prioritize, and mitigate cyber risks in alignment with business objectives. Cybersecurity risk management processes are fully automated and continuously refined, ensuring that organizations can rapidly adapt to emerging cyber threats, regulatory changes, and evolving business risks. A global technology company at this level may implement predictive risk modeling, continuous security audits, and AI-driven security incident response automation, ensuring that cyber risks are proactively identified and mitigated before they escalate into critical security incidents. Cybersecurity risk management processes align with multiple controls in the National Institute of Standards and Technology Special Publication 800-53, ensuring that organizations implement comprehensive security governance and risk assessment frameworks. One key control is PM-9 risk management strategy, which requires organizations to develop structured cybersecurity risk management processes that integrate with enterprise-wide risk management frameworks, ensuring that cyber risks are continuously identified, analyzed, and mitigated. A healthcare provider implementing this control may establish a cybersecurity risk assessment committee, conduct routine security audits, and ensure that cybersecurity risk policies align with patient data protection requirements. Another key control is RA-3 risk assessment, which mandates that organizations perform structured risk evaluations, prioritize cyber threats based on business impact, and implement risk-based mitigation strategies to reduce exposure to security vulnerability. A financial services firm implementing this control may use real-time cyber risk assessment platforms, apply machine learning-based security analytics, and enforce structured risk mitigation processes to protect financial transaction systems from cyber threats. Cybersecurity risk management processes also align with RA-5, vulnerability monitoring and scanning, which requires organizations to regularly evaluate their security posture through automated vulnerability assessments, continuous threat intelligence gathering, and penetration testing. This control ensures that cybersecurity risk management processes are proactive rather than reactive, allowing organizations to detect and address security gaps before they can be exploited by cyber adversaries. A technology company implementing this control may establish a continuous vulnerability assessment program, integrating automated security scanning tools with AI-driven threat detection mechanisms to identify and remediate security weaknesses in real time. These controls can be adapted based on organizational size, industry, and cybersecurity maturity. A small business may implement basic cyber risk management policies, ensuring that leadership receives quarterly security briefings and follows a structured risk assessment framework. A large enterprise may deploy enterprise-wide cyber risk management platforms, automate real-time cyber risk scoring, and integrate cybersecurity risk analysis with financial and operational risk assessments. Organizations in highly regulated industries, such as finance, healthcare, and defense, may require continuous risk monitoring, executive-level cybersecurity risk reporting, and adaptive risk governance structures to comply with industry regulations and national cybersecurity standards. Auditors assess cybersecurity risk management processes by reviewing whether organizations have structured, documented, and continuously refined risk assessment methodologies that align with enterprise-wide risk governance. They evaluate whether organizations conduct cybersecurity risk assessments, apply risk-based security controls, and integrate cyber risk reporting into executive decision-making. If an organization fails to implement structured cybersecurity risk management processes, auditors may issue findings highlighting gaps in risk governance, insufficient security risk assessments, and failure to align cyber risk mitigation with business objectives. To verify compliance, auditors seek specific types of evidence. Cyber risk management policy documents and enterprise security risk assessment reports demonstrate that organizations formally define and enforce structured cybersecurity risk processes. Risk management dashboards and executive security briefings provide insights into whether leadership teams actively engage in cybersecurity risk governance and prioritize cyber risk mitigation strategies based on business impact. Incident response reports and continuous risk monitoring logs show whether organizations proactively track and mitigate cybersecurity risks, ensuring real-time security risk alignment with evolving cyber threat landscapes. A compliance success scenario could involve a financial institution that undergoes an audit and provides evidence that cybersecurity risk management processes are fully integrated into enterprise-wide governance frameworks, with structured cyber risk assessments, continuous risk monitoring, and executive-led cybersecurity risk governance. Auditors confirm that cyber risks are continuously assessed, security investments align with organizational risk priorities, and risk mitigation strategies are proactive rather than reactive. In contrast, an organization that fails to implement structured cybersecurity risk management processes, neglects real-time risk assessments, or lacks executive leadership engagement in cybersecurity governance may receive audit findings for weak risk oversight, insufficient cyber risk visibility, and failure to integrate cybersecurity risk management into strategic decision-making. Organizations face multiple barriers in implementing effective cybersecurity risk management processes. One major challenge is fragmented risk management efforts, where cybersecurity risk assessments are conducted in isolation by different departments, leading to inconsistent security enforcement and weak enterprise-wide risk visibility. Another challenge is lack of standardized risk assessment frameworks, where organizations fail to apply consistent methodologies for identifying, evaluating, and mitigating cyber risks, making it difficult to align cybersecurity risk management strategies with overall business objectives. A final challenge is insufficient automation and real-time risk intelligence, where organizations rely on manual risk management processes, leading to delays in risk detection and inefficient cybersecurity decision-making. Organizations can overcome these barriers by standardizing cybersecurity risk management methodologies, integrating risk assessments into enterprise governance frameworks, and automating cyber risk analysis using AI-driven threat intelligence. Investing in automated risk management platforms, predictive security analytics, and continuous risk monitoring tools ensures that organizations detect, assess, and mitigate cyber risks dynamically, reducing security vulnerabilities before they escalate into major incidents. Standardizing cybersecurity risk processes across departments, subsidiaries, and external vendors ensures that cyber risks are consistently managed, reducing exposure to security threats and strengthening enterprise-wide risk resilience. By embedding cybersecurity risk management processes into enterprise governance structures, organizations enhance risk visibility, improve regulatory compliance, and ensure sustainable cybersecurity management in evolving cyber threat landscape. That wraps up today's discussion on framework. Don't stop here. Head over to cyberauthor.me to explore more cybersecurity topics and discover a best-selling book covering NIST and other critical cyber frameworks. Please like, rate, and review this episode on Apple and Spotify. Until next time, remember that knowledge is power.